Hello everyone. Today I am going to discuss about the wastewater collection system in which we see the details about sewer appearance. Sewer appearances are the various accessories on the sewage system and are necessary for the efficient operation of the system. They include manholes, lamp hole, street inlets, catch basins, inverted siphons and remaining. These are the various parts of this one. Then let us see, first one is the manholes. Manholes are the openings of either circular or rectangular in shape which is constructed on the alignment of the sewer line, which is enable a person to enter the sewer for inspection, cleaning and flushing. Sewer are ventilators for the sewage by provision of perforated manhole covers. Also they facilitate the laying of sewer lines in convenient length. These manholes are provided at all junctions of two or more sewers. Whenever diameter of sewer changes, whenever direction of sewer line changes, and when the sewers are different elevation joined together. Next is the special manholes. These chambers constructed at the intersection of two large sewers. Second is the drop manhole. When the difference in elevation of the inward level of the incoming and outgoing sewers of the manholes is more than 60 cm, then the interception is made by dropping the incoming sewer vertically outside and then it is joined to the manhole chamber. This is called drop manhole. Next is the flushing manholes. In generally they are located at the head of the sewer to flush out the deposits in the sewer with water. Means whenever the water that manholes that want to flush, then these are used. Then next is the lamp holes. Lamp holes are the openings constructed on the straight sewer lines between two manholes which are far apart and permit the insertion of lamp into the sewer to find out the obstructions, if any, inside the sewer from the next manhole. Means these manholes are used, or these are used for inserting the lamp only whenever there is any problem or obstacles are there. Then we can find by inserting the lamp by using these lamp holes, so that that problem of sewers can be solved. In this one, there is the first is the street inlets. In street inlets, there are the openings through which the stormwater is to be admitted and conveyed to the storm sewer or combined sewer. The inlets are located by the side of pavement with maximum spacing of 30 meter. Second is the catch basins. The catch basins are the small settling chambers of diameter 60 to 90 cm and 60 to 75 cm in depth, which are constructed below the street inlet. They interrupt the velocity of stormwater entering throughout the inlet and allow the grit, sand, debris and so on. The settling or the settle in the basins instead of the allowing them to enter into the sewers. These are called the catch basins. Means these catch basins which are in generally having the diameter 960 to 90 means up to 90 centimeter in diameter and up to 75 centimeter in depth. These are constructed below the street inlet because they interrupt the velocity of or allow the velocity of storm water entering through that inlet, and these inlets are allowed flow of all the materials or the dissolved solid present in that water like a sand, then grids, which are settled in the basin, so that these catch basins are used. The next one is the inverted siphons. These are the depressed portion of the sewer which flow full under the pressure more than the atmospheric pressure due to flow line being below the hydraulic grade line. They are constructed when a sewer crosses a stream or a deep cut or road or railway line to clean the siphon pipe, uh, then it having a small wall for the openings, thus the increasing the head causing flow. Due to the increased velocity, the deposition of the siphon pipes are washed into the slum from where they are removed is the inverted siphons. The next concept is the pumping of sewage. The pumping of sewage is required when it is not possible to have a gravitational flow for the entire sewage project. Sufficient pumping capacity has to be provided to meet the peak flow at least 50% as of standby. So first of all we see what is the necessity of that pumping of sewage. When some area of a town or a city or any project is low lying, it may not be possible to drain the low lying area by gravity to discharge into the sub main or main located at the higher level, unless the entire sewage system in the remaining higher area is laid at the correspondingly lower level. In such circumstances, it is more economical to collect the sewage of the floor laying area into the sump well by gravity and then the pump it into the gravity main sewer of the high level area. So this is the first necessity of pumping sewage. Then second is in a radial flow pump, the flow through the impeller is the radial, that is across the plane perpendicular to the axial or the rotation. The impellers of the radial flow pumps can be constructed in all three types, like open, semi-open and closed one. The radial flow pump can be constructed with the either single suction or a double suction. Now the next is the factors to consider for the sewage pumping station. Means whenever we want to collect that sewers or that sewers flow from one area to another, so that some factors are to be considered for this pumping station, in which the first one is the when the sewage pumping station is a building where the pump and the other accessories are installed for the lifting sewage, either for discharging it into the high level gravity sewer or for its treatment or for its disposal, for that sewage pumping station is to be needed. So there are the three factors which are required or which to be considered for this sewage pumping station. First one is the location of the pumping station, second is the building of pumping station, and third one is the component parts of that pumping station. When the land is flat, the laying of the sewers at the calculated gradient in order to have self-cleansing velocity would involve the expensive excavation. Second, when this can be avoided by installing the pumping unit at interval along the long sewer to the lift of the sewage from one section to the next section that can be located at the higher level and running under the gravity. This process of lifting the sewage is known as the boosting, and the pumps used are called the booster. When an outfall sewer is lower than that of the entrance to the treatment work or body of the water or any other point of the discharge, then the sewage is required to be lifted by pumping either for its treatment or for its disposal into the body of water or to any other point of discharge. When the sewer is required to taken across the high ride, then the tunnel is required to be driven for this purpose. However, instead of driving a tunnel, pumping sewers into the sewers laid across the slope of the ridge at the reasonable depth may be more economical. Such situations may arise when the town or the city is divided into the two parts by a ridge line in between. The sewage in two parts is collected separately under the gravity at the lowest point, and then the sewage from one part is taken to be the other by crossing the ridge by means of the pumping. When it is required to take out the sewage from cellars or the basement of building, the floor of which it is at a level lower than that of inverted level of the sewer into which the sewage is to be discharged, then the sewage is required to be pumped. It means, however, it is noted that the provision of the pump in the sewage system result in an additional expenditure because it involves the capital investment, operations and maintenance cost and extra supervision charges, such the necessity the pumping of the sewage should be carefully examined before it is finally recommended. Then the next concept is the problem in the sewage pumping. For this sewage station, some parameters are to be considered, in which the first one is the sewage has the four characteristics. Second, the sewage contains a lot of suspended and floating material. This may make the running of pumps difficult and may cause the frequent clogging of the pumps. Third problem is the sewage contain the organic and inorganic waste which may cause the corrosion of the pumping equipment, and thus the rust is formed, so it life of that pumps get reduced. The presence of disease producing bacteria and organisms in the sewage may cause the health hazard to the person working on that pumping stations. Next is when the sewage may contain the biological contents including the disease producing germs. So the pumping of the sewage should not be delayed for the long time. The repair it required should be carried out immediately. The rate of flow of sewage varies continuously, and hence the pumping operations are to be adjusted accordingly that. When the size of the sump or the well is limited, since the large size sump will result in settlement of the silt and organic matter at its bottom. As such, the provision of the sump or wet well is made to give only a little storage space, and the rate of pumping has to be adjusted with the rate of entering or the incoming sewage. The pump next is the pump should be high order reliability because the failure of pump will lead to flooding which may cause unbearable nuisance. Means whenever that pump which does not having the high order reliability, there may forming various problems because we collect that all the sewers, and whenever there is the damage means it causes the major problems in that area. Now the next is the types of pumps. There are the following some types which are used for the sewage system for the pumping of the uh, sewage sludge, gray matter or others as per its suitability. Then the first one is the radial flow centrifugal pump. Second is the axial flow and mixed flow centrifugal pump. Third is the reciprocating pistons or plunger pump, diaphragm pump. Then next is the rotatory screw pump. Then next is the pneumatic ejectors airlift pump. These pumps are pumping devices are available, but these are environmental engineering is infrequent. Now the first is the radial flow centrifugal pump. This pump consists of the two parts. First one is the casing and second is the impeller. The centrifugal pump are generally classified as the radial flow, mixed flow and axial flow pump. The classification is usually based on the specific speed of that of pump. The specific speed of that centrifugal pump is defined as the speed in revolution per minute of an imaginary pump geometrically similar in every respect to the actual pump under the consideration and of such a size that it is capable of delivering 1 liter of water per second against the head of 1 meter. Impeller of the pump rotate at the high speed inside the casing. A sewage is drawn from the suction pipe into the pump and curved rotating vents through it through the outlet pipe because the centrifugal force. The radial flow pump throw the liquid entering in the center of the impeller out into the spherical casing. The impeller of the centrifugal pump can be closed, semi-open or open depending on that of applications of the pump, then the open impeller type pumps. These open impeller type pumps are more suitable because the suspended solid and the floating matter present in the sewage can be easily pumped without clotting. These pumps can have a horizontal or vertical designs. These pumps are commonly used for any capacity of head. These pumps have low specific speed up to 4200. Then next is the axial flow centrifugal pump. In this design can be handled the large capacities but only with reduced discharge heads. They are constructed vertically. The vertical pump have a positive submerge on the impeller. These are used for pumping a large sewage flow more than 2000 cubic meter per hour and head up to the 9.0 meter. These pumps have a relatively high speed like 8000 to 16000. The water entered in this pump axial and axially and the head is developed by the propelling action of the impeller vanes. Next is the mixed flow pump. This pump develops the heads by combination of the centrifugal action and the lift of the impeller vane on the liquid. They have a single impeller. The flow enters the pump axial and discharge in an axial and radial direction into this casing. The specific speed of the pump varies from 4200 to 9000. These are used for the medium heads ranging from 8 meter to 15 meter. Next is the most water and wastewater can be pumped with centrifugal pump. They should not be used for the followings. Means these pumps are not used for some parameters. Then first one is the vane pumping viscous industrial liquid or sludges, where the efficiency of the centrifugal pump are very low and therefore the positive displacement pump are used for such applications. In second condition, the low flows against high heads. Except for the deep well applications, a large number of impellers needed is a disadvantageous for the centrifugal designs. Next is the rotational speed of impeller affect the capacity, efficiency and extent of cavitations. Even if the suction lift is within a permissible limit, then the cavitations can be cause the problems and should be checked. In next parameter is the when the centrifugal pump are classified on the basis of they are specified needs speed at the point of maximum efficiency. The specific speed of the pump is defined as the speed of the impeller in the revolution per minute such that it would deliver the discharge of 1 cubic meter per minute against the 1.0 meter of the head, and it is determined by using the equation Ns is equal to 3.65 n under square root of q whole divided by h into 0.75, where q is equal to flow in cubic meter per minute, h is the head in meter and n is the speed in revolution per minute. The pump with low specific speed are suitable for more suction lift than the pumps with a high specific speed. The axial flow pump with a high specific speed will not work with any suction lift. Rather, this pump requires the positive suction heads and some minimum submerges for trouble-free operations. It is advisable to avoid the suction lift for the centrifugal pump. Hence, the pumps are generally installed either to work submerged in the wet well or installed in the dry well at such a level that the impeller will be the level of the liquid in the wet well. Then next is the positive displacement pump. This pump includes the reciprocating piston, plunger and diaphragm pump. Almost all the reciprocating pumps used in the environmental engineering are metering or power pump. A piston or a plunger is used in a cylinder which is driven forward and backward by a crankshaft connected to an outside driving unit. The adjusting metering pump flow involve the meterly changing the length and number of piston strokes. A diaphragm pump is similar to a reciprocating piston or plunger, but instead of the piston, it contains a flexible diaphragm that oscillates as a crankshaft rotates. Plunger and diaphragm pump feed meters amount of chemicals like acid, bases, uh, that of which the pH is to be adjusted. So the water or the wastewater stream, these are not suitable for the sewage pumping because the solid and the rugs present in the sewer may clog that pumps. So these pumps have high initial cost and it having a very low efficiency. Then next is the rotary screw pump. In this type, a motor rotates a vane screw or a rubber stator or a shaft to lift or feed the sludge or solid waste material to a higher level or the inlet of the another pump. These are used for the square grid chamber for the removal of the grid. Then the next is the air pumps. These pumps include the pneumatic ejector and airlifts in a pneumatic ejector wastewater into the receiver pot, and an air pressure system then blows the liquid to the treatment process at a higher elevation. In this system, the air can be used to plant in pneumatic pressure tank or the air compressor. Thus, the pumping system has no moving part in a contact with a wastewater or the waste sewage. Thus, no clotting of impeller is done. So, the ejectors are normally maintenance free and operate for the longer time. So, in these conditions, the airlift pumps consist of the updraft tube and the air line and an air compressor or the blower. Airlifts blow air in at the bottom of the submerged updraft tube as the air bubble travel upward, so that bubbles expand, reducing density and pressure within in the tube. In this process, the higher flow can be lifted for the short distance. The airlifts are used in wastewater treatment to transfer the mixed liquors or the slurry for one process to another process. These pumps have very low efficiency and can be lift the sewage up to the small heads. Efficiency of pumps range from the 85% for a large capacity centrifugal to the 50% for the many smaller units. For reciprocating piston or the plunger pumps, efficiency varies from 30% onward, depending on the horsepower and number of cylinders. For diaphragm pump, efficiency is about 30%, and for rotatory screw type, the pneumatic ejection type and the airlift pumps is below the 25%. Then next is the material for the constructions of pump. For pumping of the water, use the radial flow centrifugals and axial flow that are mixed the flow centrifugal type pumps. Normally use the bronze impeller, bronze or the steel bearings, stainless steel or the carbon steel shaft, and cast iron housing is used for the domestic wastewater pumping using the radial flow centrifugal and axial flow or mixed flow centrifugal type pumps. Similar materials are used except that they are often made from the cast iron or the stainless steel impeller. For industrial wastewater and chemical fiddlers using a radial flow centrifugal, reciprocating piston, plunger type pumps. A variety of material depending on the corrosiveness are used. In diaphragm pump, the diaphragm is usually made of rubber, a rotary screw type, then pneumatic ejectors type, and airlift pumps normally have a steel components. Now the types of pumping stations. First one is the wet well and dry well. Second in the wet well with submersible pump, and third one is the wet well with non-submersible pump. Hope so you understand all the concept. In next lecture we will discuss about these wells. Thank you.